Welcome back to the Overruled podcast here on Friday, September 20th, also known as Raid Area 51 Day 2019.
Wish I could have gone.
My name is Trevor Blanick alongside my co-host Jaden Rioch.
Howdy.
We really should have gone. It would have been fun.
I would have gotten E.T. to come on the podcast eventually.
Exactly.
That would have been pretty cool. I could have gotten some good credit with him.
Exactly.
I mean, we could have had Roger, Nathan, and E.T. Oh, and don't forget Godich.
Godich.
Yeah.
We haven't had Nathan yet. We're working on Nathan.
Nathan has messaged me and said he will come on. He's made a promise and he's holding to it. He said hopefully by the end of the year.
Godich, I believe, should be on in a couple weeks.
Oh, and the
something
Christmas
like that.
lights are on also. Just a quick shout out for Christmas.
We can actually see that on the show.
Let's go.
A few lights in the very back.
All right. It's
Flickering.
Christmas times, boys.
If you didn't say that, people probably would have been freaking out that the lights were having a seizure or something. I don't know.
Is it annoying? I can turn them off.
I don't think it's that bad. but-
Okay, cool. I was going to say, because I like Christmas time. It's always Christmas time.
No.
Layaways started at Walmart, and that's when you know Christmas time is beginning. Oh, by the way, for all of you people who are not up to date,
Hey,
you can
all
take
you
your
people.
baby seats into Walmart and get
Oh.
$30.
I thought I didn't remember the baby seats thing. So when you said you can take your baby seats and there's a pause, I'm thinking, wait.
You can
where
take your
is it?
babies in for $30.
Trade your baby in for $30. I want a new one. This one isn't working right.
Well, I mean, for $30, I mean, it's only a 6-month process. That's a pretty good investment. $30.
9-month process.
Well, 6 months, 9 months, have it early. Just
That
rip it out.
No, you cannot have a baby at 6 months. That is not a thing.
So it's 3/4 of a year investment for $30. Like, I don't know. That's not bad.
Wow. All right. So to continue with the thing we're doing now, where we will each play one song that's a meme.
No
And
quotations. They're actual memes.
is this? We don't use this as memes though.
Oh, this is funny, though.
Exactly.
So it's a meme.
So this is Jaden's song. It is from Zaza Honey Badger on Spotify. It is a cover of
Most of you know him.
Sicko Mode. Yeah, y'all know him.
But we won't say his name just in case he doesn't want to be associated with it. So,
We won't?
well, I don't know. It's Kyle.
Wait a minute.
I'll have to ask Kyle for permission if I can say his name on air.
As he's been on this show before.
When?
I'm getting extremely worried.
When? Sun is down, freezing cold. Oops, sorry, hat.
Astro. Yeah.
Sun is down, freezing cold. That's how we already know.
Lay off and let
when it's here.
Kyle sing.
My dog would probably do it for a Louis belt. That's just all he know. He don't know nothing else.
Go get him, Kyle.
I tried show him.
This is amazing. He has a whole SoundCloud like this of just
Yeah.
covers.
I tried show him. Yeah, 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 yeah. Going on you with the pick and roll. Young and flame, he in sicko mode. Whoa, made this here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they get me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping out coops. They should wait.
So that is Kyle singing
Sicko Mode.
Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. That was only the
He's a legend.
Travis Scott part of the song.
I appreciate it.
No. Wow.
Drake does the beginning of the
He
song.
does the beginning, like the first few lines, but
Yeah.
the actual rap part was
Yeah, no, you're right.
Travis Scott.
Yep.
I am looking for mine now.
You're not going to pick another Kyle song.
I am not. I will let you be the authority on Kyle.
Aw, what a guy.
Should I just
he
find-
says he takes pride in his art, so it's okay that we show it.
Of course he takes pride in his art. He worked, I'm assuming, extremely... Well, he had to actually know when to say all the words. He actually had to probably prepare a decent amount.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't really have meme songs because I don't like memes.
Oof.
For music, I should say.
Music memes are
Oh, I know what I can do.
you can find one on Twitter pretty easily.
Oh yeah, that's... This wasn't the one I was thinking of, but this is Going Bad featuring Drake by Meek Mill.
back home smoking legal.
That's basically the only part we need to know. Back home smoking legal.
That's my favorite part.
I mean, yeah. So this is a good song.
Leone.
Don Corleone, a little Godfather reference.
Whoa.
So,
back empty. So they sent me, dog. Better up with a 10-piece, dog. Dog. That's a little 10-piece for it, just to blow it in the mud. I just mean it, we involved. I just will. Put a Richard on the dog. Ball, but I'll show you how to gotta do it.
If you really wanna ball till you fall when you're back against the wall, and a bunch of niggas need you to go away.
Still going bad on in many ways. Saw you last night, but didn't. Man, count me in the hallway.
so yeah, that is Going Bad by Meek Mill featuring Drake. So, sports are happening.
No way.
Garrett
Hockey's
Bowles-
is on preseason.
Garrett Bowles is still a thing, and that's reason enough to want to jump off the top of the
he
Tivoli.
plays left tackle.
He plays left hold.
Left hold.
Actually, left tackle is very accurate. He thinks that because it's in his position name, he can tackle the defensive players, which is a hold. So he
you
gets
should just
like
tackle him going their direction.
7.
Just
That's
fall
still
on
a
him.
hold, I think.
I don't know how
If
that
you
works.
hold them to the ground, that's a hold. You cannot pull them to the ground.
Just jump on him.
My God,
Just
it probably
don't
worked
use your
better than
hands.
what he is doing.
Just like flop like a dolphin onto him.
Man, it is. And then he's like, I'm a physical guy. Like, you're an offensive lineman. Of course you're a physical guy. Why isn't everyone else on the offensive line who are also physical guys getting 5 holding calls a game? This is his 3rd season. You got to think at some point he stops getting the benefit of the doubt. When he was a rookie, you know what? Fine. Maybe he got rushed into the starting position because his rookie year was 2017. So it was after 2016. It was a rough season for us, and we're thinking, okay, maybe we can get back to the playoffs. Then he comes in and is nothing if not absolutely useless.
You guys should trade for Trent Williams.
We should, and we should trade Garrett Bowles for a sack of potatoes. Trade him back to Boise State, because clearly he still needs to learn some stuff. And I know me, again, I always make this joke when I'm the one sitting here criticizing these players. But look, it's his 3rd year in the league. At what point does he stop getting the benefit of the doubt and actually start being held accountable for not being a good player?
You could send him to the Cowboys and have him work with Matt Moore.
Well, I mean, do you think working with Joe Flacco... I mean, Flacco's actually doing decently. I mean, you can make all the fun of...
No, he's a middle of the pack guy. I mean, he's not
He
doing anything.
throws so hard, and that's what's going to help, what makes him so much better than Simeon and Paxton Lynch and Case Keenum. It's that he just throws missiles. So even if he's late on his throw and the defenders are closing in, he's still going to beat defenders to the receiver with his throw 9 times out of 10. And so at least he has that going for him.
Case Keenum's doing good in Washington. 5 touchdowns, no picks, and a passer rating of 122.
Naturally, but that's offensive line. I always said with Keenum last year that when he was given time, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. There was a play against...
No, I was going to say Washington has one of the best offensive
He
line.
threw it to Hireman. It was the game against Houston right after DT got traded. He threw a pass to Jeff Hireman inside the 5. I don't know if it was a touchdown or if it just got him down to the goal line. But he threw one of the most impressive passes I've seen, and my mom said, wow. I said, that's what I've been trying to tell you people. You only hate him because he has to get rid of the ball before the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
If you give him time, he's a decent quarterback.
No, I was going to say, that's why I'm hopeful for Dwayne Haskins in Washington. I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, and Alex Smith was doing well last year.
Yeah,
Washington's
true.
a good team.
Yeah.
They just need
They just
a
need
healthy
that guy.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Really, that's all they need because they still almost made the playoffs last year, and I can't even tell you the quarterback name they had.
You know, they've had
Starting
some
at the end.
competitive games this year where they were in it. I mean, they were beating Philly for the most part. They were up like 20-3 or 27 or something, like for the most of that game until the second half they laid an egg, which that's kind of important in the second
Yeah,
half.
slight issue.
Yeah. But Case Keenum, congrats on 5 touchdowns, no picks. Good job.
So in Major League Baseball, we have I think 4 or 5 teams already clinched playoffs. It's only 4. Dodgers won the NL West. Braves have a magic number of 1 in the NL East, but have already clinched a playoff spot. Astros have clinched a playoff spot and have a magic number of, I think it might be 2 in the AL West.
And the Yankees won their division.
The Yankees won the AL
For the
East.
first time since 2012. Let's go. Good job, Yankees.
Because that went so well, they should have lost to Baltimore. They got bailed out by the umpires in that series. They got bailed out by Raul Ibanez and the umpires in 2012.
Ibanez, big.
That's kind of amazing when you think that the Baltimore Orioles just 7 years ago should have been in the ALCS. And then the Baltimore Orioles 5 years ago were in the ALCS. I know we talked about this before, but the team they beat in the ALDS, the team they swept in the ALDS in 2014,
the Tigers, right?
is, I think, the worst team in baseball. I think it might go. I would need to pull up the standings, but I think it might go Tigers, Royals, Orioles for the best for the worst.
The best worst record.
Yeah, the worst record in all of baseball.
And then it goes Marlins. Go Marlins.
Yeah, the Marlins are dumpster fire, but they're not Detroit Tigers terrible, which is incredible because how is it? And that's when people are saying, well, look at the AL wild or the NL wild card. All these teams aren't very good. Look at the AL. All these teams have 90 wins. The Indians would crush anybody. Well, the Indians get to play 38 games a year against the Royals and Tigers. And then another 6 against, they play like over 40 of their games against the worst 3 teams in baseball. Whereas in the National League, you would only the worst team is the Marlins.
Some of the worst teams over there.
Actually, the Royals have 56 wins. I did not know that. So it's the Tigers with the worst record, then the Orioles.
Then the Marlins? Or the Marlins have what?
The Marlins have 53 wins. So it'd be the
53.
Marlins and then the Royals. So the Royals must have been playing well as of late.
Well, good job, Royals.
It's pretty amazing that the Tigers have a winning percentage under 300. Their winning percentage couldn't even win them the batting title. It wouldn't even get them close.
It's a funny way of putting it.
That's the way I always think about it. But on the National League side of things, the Nationals, with a tough remaining schedule, are +1 on the Milwaukee Brewers in Wild Card 2. The Cubes are a game back. And then the Mets are 2.5 back of Chicago, 3.5 back of the Wild Card. The Phillies are 4 back, Diamondbacks 5 back, and that's basically all you really have to know.
We want all the teams to tie for a wild card spot.
I'm okay with I'm okay with every team except the Cubes. I hate Chicago so much. They are a trash franchise. They still employ Addison Russell. It is pathetic. And Aroldis Chapman. No, he's a Yankee. Never mind.
Yeah.
But they did employ Chapman.
This is true.
But they traded him to the Yankees, and then there was domestic abuse. And
no, the Yankees traded him to the Cubs, and then he went into free agency and he came back to the Yankees.
Yep. So the Yankees have 2 people convicted, or at least charged with domestic violence on their team. Domingo Germán, who won't pitch in another game this season, and Aroldis Chapman. There needs to, get Addison Russell all the way out of baseball, get Germán out of baseball, get Aroldis Chapman out of baseball. Look, if what happened with Ray Rice got him all the way. Okay, so here's my question. Jumping ship a little.
Sure.
Why is what Ray Rice did so much worse than what Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt did?
Because there's no video. There is some video, but that was the big spark fire. Oh my gosh, look at this. So.
Who cares if there's video?
Well, who cares? The public cares, and the entities care about what the public thinks. It's not right. They should all be treated the same. I think they should all be kicked out. You
either need to allow Ray Rice back into the league or get rid of everybody.
Well, for example, with Tyreek Hill, I don't know.
What Hill did is way worse than what Ray Rice did.
Ray Rice was dragging that girl out of the elevator or whatever.
Tyreek Hill broke his son's arm.
Well, I'm aware of that. I'm just saying, the visual, you don't see Tyreek breaking it. There's
I kind of have an envision of a wrestling match
yeah.
between a giant and then a lucha libre.
Yeah.
Well, so they're really tiny.
Well,
so
anything,
this giant
though.
is just abusing the child.
But like anything, though, if you actually can see it with your eyes, it's a lot different than when someone just verbally tells you it.
Yeah, but I don't care. Get them out of the league.
Well, I agree.
There's still proof of it.
I'm not saying otherwise. I'm just saying that's how the leagues look at it.
Although what I will say in baseball is that they are far more consistent on basically leaving it up to the teams. I do feel that they shouldn't kick a player out of the league altogether for domestic violence, considering that they still allow players who use steroids in the league. I mean, I do believe that you should be allowed to have a second chance, but that the players shouldn't be signed. Like, this is on the franchises. Get them out of the league. There's no reason they still should be playing. There shouldn't be Major League Baseball having to say, maybe you shouldn't employ this guy. Why does that need to be said? The teams
should have more accountability for who they have.
Know that they shouldn't be
Yeah.
employing these guys.
I mean, I'd imagine, like, for baseball and stuff like that, I wish that they'd actually have, like, I guess a guideline, kind of like a deep set of, like, look, you're going to take a year at minimum away from the game and make sure that you have your life together after an incident like that. Like, make sure that they help these players and stuff, and make sure that there's not an incident like that. Like, have a program set, like, so the two people, you know, if they plan on staying together after domestic abuse, or even if they don't, I mean, just have a program to make sure these players are better people off the field.
I totally agree.
So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing I'm upset about Tyreek Hill. Like, I don't even get why he didn't get a suspension. I mean, karma hit him. I mean, he's out. So, I mean, that's pretty much, look at that as karma getting back at him. But, I mean, he should have been suspended for what he did. But, like I said, there's no video, so league was just kind of threw up its arm and whatever. So, I mean, even there's that defensive tackle for, what is his name, DeForest Buckner. He's been, convicted of, like, 2 domestic abuses, and he's only been suspended for, like, 4 games.
Better than Tyreek Hill.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's a slap on the wrist. I mean, that's just pathetic.
Abuse his own child.
Yeah.
And I know you're not technically supposed to rate any crime above any sort of abuse, but let's be honest here. Hitting a grown woman is not as bad as hitting your own child, because at least the women, in most cases, can defend themselves. This isn't saying, oh, domestic violence is great, but a little child can literally do nothing.
No. Yeah, they're defenseless.
And women aren't supposed to just... you're not supposed to innately trust other people. But your own child has probably 4 people they trust overall. And if he can't even trust your own...
Or your own dad. I mean, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, exactly. You have to... If if one of the people you trust is the one abusing you, that's why I think it's so much worse than the Ray Rice situation. Because Ray Rice... What he did was terrible.
Well, he was only
but it's not like he broke her wrist or something.
Well, he just knocked her out cold.
He knocked her out, but you recover from that.
Yeah.
And
But.
And I think she forgave him, right? Like, they got over it.
Well, he was suspended for 8 games in the NFL. It's just everyone blackballed him and didn't let him come back.
That's my whole point.
Well, that's what.
That's what. It shouldn't be on the leagues themselves to say, okay, if you get convicted, you're not allowed to play anymore. I think because that's not how any of this works. Because if you get... None of these people, I think, are actually getting charges pressed against them and serving jail time, making them actual felons. Therefore, they could actually still apply and get jobs in the real world. But...
Well, I think the thing that was bigger about the Ray Rice thing is it wasn't just a football thing. Like, that went outside of the football realm and became a social conversation.
And why is that over now? Why is the first one... It's like the same thing with Kaepernick. Eric Reed is still in the league.
Yeah.
Eric Reed was the person who...
Well, Brandon Marshall was in the league until last year. Or this summer, he got cut.
Well, Brandon Marshall isn't being blackballed. No one just signed him yet.
Well, but I was saying he's still on a team until recently.
Exactly.
So, yeah. No, I mean, it's just because teams don't want the media attention on him like that. I mean, that's why I think they don't want to sign a Ray Rice. I think if he wouldn't cover, like, that much media attention and, like, have that much with him if he were to come to camp, I think he would have already tried out and, depending on talent, could have made a team.
What's really funny is that if he's good enough, no one will care about the domestic violence. And that's just how this works. It's true.
Well, I mean,
it's 100% true. We make the rape jokes about Roethlisberger and Kobe Bryant, but you know what? Nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap except the people that like to make jokes about it because they're so good. No one remembers that.
I would say the only time that would differ is when the media, like, scrutiny is so heavily on them. Like, for example, like I said, Ray Rice or Kaepernick, where, like, they're mediocre players. But, I mean, I agree with you. Like, talented players could not overcome that, but, like, will still make a team. But, like, the media scrutiny on, like, a Ray Rice or a Kaepernick, if they made a team, it would be... A team couldn't recover from that. So that's why
there'd
be
a lot
of
that. Scrutiny, but you know what? If they start playing well and winning games, the media's gone. They stop. Nope, that's how it works. That's absolutely
I don't
how
know
it works.
about a Ray Rice or a Kaepernick. Like those
It
two,
would
I
be
think they
gone.
wouldn't. And I think that's what teams are afraid of is that
They're
they wouldn't
afraid
be
of
able
it, but it absolutely would disappear. You think of all of these high-profile things, it all disappears. Remember, we went to spring training last year ahead of Shohei Ohtani, and you saw all the Japanese reporters there?
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore because it's over. He's just a normal player now, and so you don't have... I mean, yes, it's still a spectacle when he plays, when he does, because he's basically a modern-day Troy Tulowitzki at this point, but it's just... I mean, if we're being entirely honest here, he is in a situation where all of these... I mean, look, Kaepernick got a lot of attention because he was the first one to do it and was really, really bad. I really think Ray Rice would get less attention than Kaepernick because it happened so long ago. And if he comes to camp and starts doing well and the team is winning, that's the whole thing here. If the team is winning, no one will care in the media because you can't even use the distraction. If Ray Rice comes to camp and the Ravens all of a sudden, after winning their first 3, lose 4 of 5, then the narrative will only be, what is Ray Rice doing to this team? Even though Lamar Jackson's going to throw like 12 of 30 for 500, or for 500, that would be impressive. I don't even know how you would do that. I'll have to do the math on that one. But I need to see this.
Lamar, we're projecting a really steep decline from you.
42 yards per pass, per completion. But for like 117 yards, 12 of 30. And of course, Rice is going to be the one blamed. I am 100% certain the media will not be like this when Kareem Hunt comes back. That's just not... We saw this with Tyreek Hill. That's not the narrative that's going on.
I mean, I feel like the situations for those people, though, is like, for example, like with a Kareem Hunt, like, he didn't get his just dues. Like, he should have been suspended a lot longer. Like I said, like, these people, like, I mean, 8 games, I mean, for them, that's a slap on the wrist. Like, I don't know. But, I mean... I feel like the media feels like they did their just dues and they can leave it alone now. I mean, they got the guy suspended or helped get him suspended, and now, he's on the team and can work it out. I mean, the NFL did give him a little bit, severe slap on the hand, if you will. I mean, they didn't let him come to Brown's training camp, so it's not like he can work out with them. But so he's away from the team until his 8 weeks are done. But, I think the way it works is he got his just dues, so we can leave him alone.
Yeah, and Ray Rice, I feel, has gotten his just dues as well. So,
yeah, but like I said, I think he's more of a spark point than Kareem Hunt.
I know, but that's my whole point, is if you get him and he does well, no one will care.
Well, everyone will care for like 3 weeks, like maybe a month.
What this country does, especially in sports media, is fake outrage. To be entirely honest, is...
Big facts.
If the case was settled and he did not get charges pressed, he could work anywhere in the world. So why do we care if an NFL team, an employer, decides to hire this person? Would we have outrage if a car company hired this guy? No. It's the exact same thing except this guy's on TV. Don't watch him. Why do we have fake outrage? That's what I hate. It's when Antonio Brown called his doctor that word, or not his doctor, Mike Mayock. You know what? You shouldn't say that. But again, it's fake outrage from a bunch of white people who wouldn't care if someone called them that word. So my point again is, why do we care about why do we create fake outrage? Because it feels good to create controversy.
Well,
it's
also
the same
get some
thing.
Clicks.
And that's why after a few weeks, it's gone.
Yeah.
Because the fake outrage has expired.
Or you're done getting clicks. Now you need another thing to get clicks.
Exactly. It's all, in this age of media, everything is toxic. And so that's why fake outrage is just everything. I'm certain we got fake outrage when Von Miller was busted for weed and then giving someone else's pee for the drug test. I'm certain. I was too young. I didn't have Twitter.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember, but I know it happened.
I'm absolutely certain there was outrage for that. Why is that any different? I mean, to be entirely honest, that's probably, I don't want to say worse, but optics-wise, Ray Rice never tried to cover it up, whereas Von Miller knew what he was doing and tried to cover it up and was busted both times.
I mean, like I said, I mean, there's a lot to say for a video. I mean, I know it's stupid. Like, and what happens. I mean, there's a lot worse things that we don't get on video. But I think that's one of the worst things about the visual. Like when Ray Rice hit that person, like it led to outcry. You could see it. Like it wasn't just some news reporter reporting it. And you actually got a visual that this is what that guy did. And I think that's part of the outcry. Is whenever you can get a video attached to it, there's going to be a lot more severe penalty.
Yeah, and that's just the issue with this day and age. I mean,
well, your eyes are more meaningful than your words, supposedly.
Exactly. I mean, there's absolutely no reason Ray Rice should be blackballed and Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt still have jobs if that's the way this is going to be. And on the flip side, there's no way Ray Rice shouldn't have a job if he's still physically capable of playing if Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill. It's amazing it's the Chiefs. What a great franchise they are. At least they cut Kareem Hunt. At least they did the right thing with him.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, whatever, he's too good to cut. But
well, even Kareem Hunt, I mean, their offense went pretty. I mean, they had
exactly.
A couple
That's why they lost in the AFC Championship. If they
Yep.
have Kareem Hunt, they would have won the Super Bowl that year.
Yep.
I mean, I still think the Rams probably would have beat them, if we're being entirely honest.
But they beat the Patriots.
The Rams should have beaten the Patriots. They had about as many mental mistakes as possible.
Well, I mean, plus if they have Cooper Kupp too, I mean that Rams team easily beat the Patriots.
Yep.
I know it's always comes out as mean, but how does Tom Brady have so many breaks? Like I understand like a lot of players have a lot of breaks, but like I swear like when you look at Tom Brady's career, it's just like come on. Like I've never seen a quarterback get this many breaks. I mean, of course there's talent, longevity involved with that, but it's just like I can't believe it.
Yeah, Peyton Manning didn't have that happen where the other like the Carolina Panthers didn't have any injuries when they played them.
Trevor, I was looking at a stat yesterday because Ben was talking about how Peyton Manning... No, not actually, I was just Googling it.
Oh.
And I looked at why Peyton Manning lost so many first-round games. Do you know that his defense has given up 10 game-winning drives against him in the fourth quarter or later? So he's put his team in position to say, all right, we've got a chance. And he's given up 10 game-winning drives up to the Super Bowl 50. That was where the stats cut off. I mean, of course, that's where he cut off, but not the rest of the players.
Well...
I mean, like Tom Brady, for example.
Well, yeah.
And then, like, of course, you look at, like, Tom Brady, and it's like there's only been 2 game-winning drives against him, and it's like 4 that he's constituted or something like that. Like, it's a better ratio.
How many game-winning drives did Manning have in those games?
Oh, it was like 4 or 5. Like, it was like the ratio, like Peyton Manning has more game-winning drives, but also has more game-losing drives, like, against his defense.
And that doesn't surprise me because if you look at the statistics, the Patriots almost always have a top 10 defense, and that's what people don't take into account in the Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning debate. Well, you say, well, I mean, that's my whole point. Why you can't use championships as a valid statistic is because it's a team game. And as soon as you start using the statistics and stuff like that, it goes out the window because...
Well, because, I mean, if you're looking at that, Otto Graham's the greatest quarterback. He's won 9 Super Bowls.
Or NFL championships.
Whatever you want to call him, yeah.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
my
I
whole
love
point
Otto
here.
Graham, but I mean, that he's not the GOAT, but he's up there. He's pretty good. I love Otto.
Brady is going to play more seasons, and so he's going to, if Brees stays healthy, he's going to break all the records, and Brady will probably be second. But what the narrative is going to be, well, Brady has better stats than Manning. Well, average it out per year. Because Brady came into the year 3 years earlier than Manning, and now this is Brady's 4th season after Manning retired, and Manning's still in front of him. Plus, Manning missed an entire year. Plus, I mean, I know Brady missed an entire year as well, but Manning missed half of another year with the combination of being terrible and plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
And not plantar fasciitis, it completely tore. But Manning missed a lot of games, so it's not like Brady missed half his career or something and is still right behind Manning.
Well, and the thing I love about like Peyton Manning too, even when he wasn't able to physically play, like he still won a Super Bowl. Like I understand the defense did a lot of that, but like he was still able to game manage at a respectable amount where he still won games. Like he didn't lose games.
Exactly. I mean, there were a few games where he wasn't physically capable of winning, but for the vast majority of that season when he was able to play, he's the one that got the Super Bowl for the Broncos. Had Osweiler continued to play, there's a very decent chance they lose to San Diego in the season finale, and I think they might have been a 3 seed. If they lost that game, they would have been a wild card. That's right, because Kansas City won that week, and I think the Chiefs finished 12-4 and the Broncos finished 12-4. We had the tiebreaker, but Or, I mean, it was one of the two. It was either they had the tiebreaker or we had the tiebreaker. And we either finished with the same record and got the division on the tiebreaker, or had we lost, they would have won the division on the tiebreaker. I don't remember which one it was.
Well, when you get the division, losing you don't.
I mean, if we had lost and they lost, we would have still gotten the division. But it was not... Manning saved that season because I'm assuming we would have been the 5 seed, which would mean we would have played on the road at Houston, which we would have won because,
Houston.
But then we would have gone to New England. And I don't think as good as that defense was, that we would have been able to beat New England on the road in Foxborough that year.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you go on Foxborough on the road, it's a hard game.
In the playoffs especially, because it always seems like this crazy BS that happens for Brady. I mean, the Chiefs had an interception down by a touchdown in the fourth quarter that they dropped. And much like Super Bowl 51, it went right to their wide receiver. It might have been Edelman, too, for the first down that iced the game.
Well,
it's just...
We're a D4 offsides away from saying Patrick Mahomes made a Super Bowl in his first year.
A starter. I mean, just think of all of that. Just the crazy one-play things. Like, Brady
the tuck rule. I mean, then you have all the Vinatieri field goals, which at Vinatieri, you suck. Please get better. I love you.
So, I mean, he's a tuck rule away from not winning Super Bowl 36, so that's down to 5. I mean, and I'm just thinking in terms of literal being one play away from not winning a Super Bowl.
Sure.
Like the Colt, like one BS play away from not winning a Super Bowl, I should say.
Okay.
Like even in the game that that Jerome Bettis fumbled, and the Colts were going to score a touchdown, and naturally Ben Roethlisberger finds a way. People break arm tackles all the time, and this is an arm on the ground and one arm, and somehow that brings them down.
Yeah.
And then Vanderjagt misses the field goal. I mean, that's the difference between the Patriots and the Colts and Broncos.
Yeah.
The Patriots' defense never would have given up the Joe Flacco Hail Mary. Speaking of the Ravens, Matt Stover, I think it was. It was either Tucker or Stover who just...
Yeah, Tucker missed it.
Who shanked a field goal that would have sent the AFC Championship game to overtime. It's just stuff like that where you just think, oh, well, that's convenient. And I think ultimately, if you really look at it, instead of just, 6 championships, that's cool, you're like... I mean, that's what really hurts the legacy of Tom Brady to me, because it's Well,
I'm fine with a coin flip occasionally, but it's like, I swear, like every time, like it's coin flip every single time, and somehow it always goes his way.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to lose those 50-50 things, especially overtime. Like, are you kidding me? He got lucky enough to get the ball first in overtime of the AFC Championship and Super Bowl 52 or 51. Come on now. That's not how that's supposed to work. And that...
Or you're supposed to win one, lose one. Like, I mean, mathematically.
Like, literally, that's how it's supposed to work.
So, I mean, if the Chiefs get the ball, they score. I mean, if the Falcons get the ball, I'm pretty sure they would have scored too. At least a field goal.
Yeah, the Falcons, assuming that Matt Ryan would have been able to calm everything down, probably would have won that game.
Yeah.
However...
Well, the Falcons there in the fourth quarter didn't look horrible, per se. I mean, you still have that great catch by Julio. Like, they were still...
It was that holding call on a run play where they were just setting it up for a field goal to put the game out of reach. Again, who else would that happen to?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. There's a difference between being a Brady hater / truther and just being a football fan. I don't like Brady, but it doesn't change the fact that I can still see the fact that he's a great quarterback, but has gotten lucky more times than any other quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah.
In big games. That's just the fact.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it doesn't change the fact. I mean, he's an all-time quarterback, but to say he's the GOAT, to me, I find that...
It's disrespectful to Joe Montana and Peyton Manning and, quite honestly, Drew Brees.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Tom Brady's in that GOAT conversation, but I don't think he is the GOAT. Like, I always hate the GOAT. Like, I feel like for example, quarterbacks, like, I feel like each one kind of has their own special, unique things. I mean, like, even Brett Favre, I mean, he was a fantastic player. I wouldn't throw him in the GOAT conversation, but I don't know. Like, to be honest, I'd rather have him at times over than Brady. I mean, honestly, I mean, the same thing happened with him. I mean, if he had the greatest defensive coach of all time, Brett Favre, I mean, I bet he wins a couple more Super Bowls.
I mean, and you always talk about, I mean, what I would always love is, let's say you put, I'm trying to think, I mean, you put Peyton Manning in like the 2007 Patriots, they don't lose a game. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also luck. The Patriots didn't blow out every single opponent. And lucky again in the AFC Championship game, they played terribly against the Chargers, and Phillip Rivers on a torn ACL was still able to keep it one possession for most of the afternoon. That's just my whole thing with the Patriots is, look, you guys have gotten extremely lucky and have made the most of your luck. Like, you still had to be in the position for luck.
Well, I was going to say, you still have to be good enough for luck to happen, but it's like you can't count out luck. So, I mean, even if you look at his offensive line, I mean, Andrew Luck plays like 4 or 5 years or whatever with one of the worst offensive lines ever. Brady can play till 40 plus with his offensive line because they actually
because he's barely touched, and when he is, it's a penalty.
Yeah. Well, I guess
that's just the way it is.
I mean, that's the thing that's frustrating for me, like watching, even Peyton Manning got injured. Of course he went to the Broncos, but I mean, like, if you were to look at that face value when it first happened, it's like, dang, he got injured. We had so much more potential with him on the Colts. Andrew Luck, he retires because he gets injured. It's just like, man, like, all these other guys drop while Brady has one of the best offensive lines and doesn't get touched.
Exactly. And, I mean, the Broncos murdered him in the AFC Championship game, but that was before the rules got all silly.
Well, I was going to say, name another team that's done that to Brady.
Literally none, I don't believe.
Well, I was going to say, that game...
literally none.
Well, in that game, too, you could see that he was under duress. Like, he actually changed the way he was playing. He was getting hit so much. Like, that was the thing that was incredible about that game, is that offensive line sucked. Of course, afterwards, Ben's like, oh, this offensive line sucks. No, that was just the Broncos being that good.
No, Ben was complaining that that Peyton Manning paid the refs because of
right.
the Gronk play in the end zone, where he had hands on him but not pulling him, and Gronk freaked out in the end zone because he felt the hands on a pass that just went through his hands, and so Ben freaked out because of that. And what's funny is that on what would have been the game tying touchdown, Gronk shoved Chris Harris Jr. out of bounds, and it should have been offensive pass interference, but it wasn't called. And I think that was far more egregious than the touching in the end zone there.
Yeah.
So the game shouldn't have even come down to that.
I'm not a big fan of the new reviewable pass interference rules.
Have they even overturned one yet?
They actually have. There's a couple. They called like 2 on Stephon Diggs, which was funny. They called one. Well, I guess my thing is, like, with reviewable pass interference, like, to me, everything looks egregious in slow motion. Like, everything looks so bad when you're like, oh, I'm pushing the guy out of the way.
I've long since said, unless it's a score, like a literal score.
That was the one I didn't. That was the reason I didn't mind the Stephon Diggs one. He kind of did push his way and it was a touchdown.
But no, my point is that unless it's in hockey, like going across the goal line or something like that, in basketball, if the shot is out of the hands or not, only allow replays in real time. Because if it's an egregious enough of an error, the officials will be able to fix it. And they need to get rid of beyond reasonable doubt. If the officials feel there's sufficient evidence to overturn it, then they should be allowed to overturn it, even if it's not indisputable. Come on, the initial call wasn't indisputable.
Yeah.
That's why you're reviewing it. So if you feel that this call is more right than the other call, why not flip it? But make it real time, so you don't have a situation in baseball where you're reviewing if a guy got hit by a pitch for 5 minutes. You're not reviewing if a guy is offsides. He wasn't. For 5 minutes in hockey. You're not reviewing if the ball grazed his hands. It didn't. In basketball for 5 minutes. If you can't tell, Denver teams have been kind of screwed by bad officiating in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. The Nuggets won with Jamal Murray. Jeez. But even, I don't even remember what game it was, but, like, they were reviewing to see if the quarterback let go of the ball, like, at the same time the guy was, like, pushing. And, like, everyone on the TV was like, oh, yeah, you can see the ball's, like, out of his hands, and he's pushing, and they didn't review it.
That was Thursday Night Football last week, right? Carolina, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because they were reviewing. That was a huge play.
Yeah.
Because he was down at the 22, and they needed to find out, because if the ball was already thrown, it would be a face mask tacked on, I believe.
Well, yeah, but they were, like, slow motioning it, and it's like, oh, let's see if the guy... I mean, he pushed him off his route. I mean, how? Like, I don't care if the ball's, like, almost out or not. Like, if the ball's, like, just about out and he's pushing him off his route, like, what is he supposed to do? Like, literally, so, like, 1 millisecond or so later, and it's a pass interference, but, like, 1 millisecond before, it's like, oh, it's not a pass interference. Like, to me, like... I don't know. Like, if you slow motion it, yeah, I guess it was still in his hands. But, like, if you go at real time, it does look like he pushed him off his route as the ball is coming out. Like, to me, that's pass interference, and I don't think they called that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it can't be pass interference because the definition of pass interference is interference during a pass. And if the ball isn't
Well, I know, but it was
thrown-
like fingertips what they were looking at, like
Then-
almost gone. And it's like, I don't get slow motioning that. I mean, to me, make the call in real time. Like, if the ball's out, the ball's out. If it's not, it's not. Like, to me, I mean, judging based on his, like, fingertips, how close the ball is to out, I mean, to me, then you're just beating the point of sports. It's like, come on, just call it.
No, I mean,
to me, fingertips shouldn't decide if that's a pass or not. I mean, you either have the intent to pass and it's about out,
did
or
they
it isn't.
initially call it pass interference on the field?
No, they didn't.
Then,
So,
then what's the
keep
point
it.
in calling it?
Well, exactly.
They did.
Well, they didn't call it.
Then that's my whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Just go with it in real time. If it looks like it was still in his hand, then it's not. Then it's in his hand. That's fine. I don't need to see if his fingertips are still in the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the issue with the replay now is that every single thing is under a microscope. Every single thing is under a microscope. I don't know. We probably should wrap up because I need to eat and then
Minshew's a god.
Gardner Minshew. So this will be a shorter podcast. Oh yeah, next week it's gonna be either. I have no clue how next week's show is gonna look. You're gonna need to try to find time to do it because I would prefer not to have to try to figure out how to do the show next Friday and do the weather because I've got to be down here at 10 and I don't know how long it's going to take because if it takes until about 12:30 it's not going to be long enough to do the podcast. So
Yeah, I mean, we can talk to Liz.
I mean, it'd make more sense to talk to Ronan because he's got the full schedule and controls the schedule.
I'll talk to whoever. So, yep. So we'll do it
I'm
other
just-
than Friday.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the thing, and 5 to 6 is always open.
Yeah, it's 5 to 6. I don't know. We can talk about it later.
Could do 6 to 7.
6 to 7. Let's do 10.
I mean, honestly, we have the thing, the key card. So technically, if they
Yeah,
were okay
technically we
with it.
could do.
What's really funny is The Office. We could do it late on a Thursday night because it's production night for Met TV. So, I mean, they stay here till early in the morning, I believe.
Oh, really?
Occasionally, they stay late. I don't know how late, but actually, I'm gonna be down here a few times next week because of I need to work on my video for Met TV. So just pick one of the afternoons, and I'll just come in
Cool. Yeah, I'm fine with
and
that.
do that.
Yeah, I'll
so we
try
can
and-
do that then.
Okay.
What's your song of the week?
I have no clue. I guess we'll do Enemies by Post Malone. Seems like the easy answer. I don't know if I picked that last week.
You picked Circles.
Circle? Well, I guess we'll do Enemies this week.
You're an enemy of a circle.
Used to have
The baby.
Used
to have friends, now I got enemies.
Used to keep them close, now they dead to me. Used to have friends, now I got enemies. Enemies, yeah, so sad. They said I would never get this far.
Oh, I'm 2-0 in fantasy football, boys. Let's go. Trevor's 0-2.
I should have won the first week, but you had like the best week
I
ever.
know. That was so fun. I felt so bad. You would have beaten everyone else for the most part except for me.
I think I would have bet. Yeah, I would have beat.
I think you would have beaten like 8 or 9 teams. So it was ridiculous.
It was great. Although I couldn't have beaten 9 teams because there's 10 teams in the league, and I
That's
wouldn't have
right,
beaten
yeah.
myself or you.
You could have beaten yourself. Let's see, you had 152, so you would have only lost to Blake and Kyle.
Yay! That's amazing.
Oh, I got enemies. I hope I beat the socks off of Ben this week.
Me too. I hope I play Caleb and I should win, assuming my team doesn't suck. I'm also really glad I gave Cam Newton a second chance because I would have started Mariota last night and that would have not been good.
Is Cam even playing? I thought he's out this weekend.
He might play. I don't know. There's no timetable.
Yeah, from what I heard, I thought he's out.
When I told you fuck you, you thought I was playing, huh? Yeah. But I made this shit later. She wanted to buy, but I told her fuck that. She look at me
It said he's questionable.
Yeah, it says Cam Newton foot didn't practice Thursday, was spotted in a walking boot. And it says all the stars line up for Kyle Allen to start under center for the Panthers.
Uh-oh. Joe Flacco time.
Do you have 4 quarterbacks?
I have 3.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. You can't pick up Minshew. Ah, that's right.
No, I do not want it reflected on my lineup for week 3. I kind of need this now.
It is week 3.
Shut up.
So you're dropping Cam Newton for Flacco?
No, Marcus Mariota.
I don't think you can drop him yet. Can you?
It says this transaction will be reflected on your lineup for week 3.
Oh.
Because they didn't play him. So he's just a bench player.
All right, well, let me break the news. What's your team name?
Scothy Metro. So my chances of winning dropped, but technically it went up because, you know, I'm starting a quarterback that's going to play. Let's go. So yeah, this is Enemies featuring DaBaby by Post Malone.
Who'd you pick up, Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco time.
I don't know how to spell Marcus. Let's see.
Marcus.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't one of those weird spellings, so I didn't get made fun of like Blake. Scothy Metro has dropped Marcus Mariota and picked up Joe Flacco.
So this is the next song. Oh, I forgot. This is Drinking Hours by Cole Swindell.
Dinger dub.
Been watching that clock tick tock all day, sitting here waiting on 5.
Wait a minute.
What?
It says that you have another player. It says that you have Mariota and Newton and Flacco and Philip Rivers still on my end.
Oh, okay, because Mariota already played, so it let me pick up Flacco.
But with
So
the
that's what
intent to
happened.
drop Mariota.
Because Mariota's on waivers.
Huh.
I got it. Because mine shows I still have Mariota as well. Cole Swindell is the best.
Well, Trevor, you still are projected to win by
I
6
know.
points. Or I guess
It'll be a
close one.
clincher.
That's the one thing about this, like this week, is it looks like everyone's pretty close. Me and Ben is 3, Lucas and Blake is 4, Kyle and Dalton is 6 points. You and I'm blanking. Caleb within 6 points, and then Josh and Grant are within 5. So I mean, it should be a good week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a closest I've ever seen the projections for everyone in single digits.
I'm thrilled.
Who do I have out next week? Who has a
I think
bye
it would have
week?
been more accurate to say I waived Marcus
Oh my
Mariota.
God. Rest in peace. I guess I have to start Jacoby Brissett next week. Week 4, I guess Jimmy
A
G has
Friends-themed Cards Against Humanity deck.
Really? That's so cool.
I don't know how that's gonna work. The one with all the cards. My only question is Cards Against Humanity is like a really, you know,
Adult game.
yeah. So how does Friends fit into that?
I don't know, but it's gonna be pretty funny.
Okay.
It's one of those expansion
It's not
packs.
officially affiliated with the card game. That makes more sense.
Okay.
That makes so much more sense.
I'm glad YouTube lets us play music.
Because we're not profiting. If we tried to make money, they would shut it down.
Yep.
Because I think you can use music and that'll demonetize it. But if you use clips, like videos from other people and stuff,
Well, technically, if you use music, they'll also give you a copyright claim if you're trying to use it and make money. So they'll give you like a copyright strike.
Well, that's my point. We're not trying to make money.
Yeah. We are trying to make money, Trevor.
Well, yeah.
Don't lie to the YouTube.
Well, not off
Almost
of the videos.
heaven.
Not on the videos, I should say.
West Virginia. It should be Will Greer time.
So we'll be back here next week. I have no clue when. Like, literally no clue at all.
But I will project this. The Colts are going to win against the Falcons. Boom. They're 1.5 point favorites. So technically 1.5 point underdogs on a neutral site.
Yes, but alrighty then. Because that's right. Home gets an automatic 3-point favorite. So... for Jaden Rioch,
And the Ravens are going to win.
I'm
That's
Trevor
my
Blatnick.
bold prediction.
See you all next week.
No, CS you guys later.
See you. Let's go, Buffs. Beat the Devils. It's not Air Force. We should be able to win this game.